after all these guys. I grew up literally inspired by Johan. I mean, I became a speed skater. I was racing. I'm from North Carolina originally, and I raced on inline skates. And as you'll know, if anyone's ever been to North Carolina, if you put wheels on it, we'll race it. And I was racing on inline skates, and I saw Johan win his 3 gold medals in '94 in Lillehammer, and I saw Dan Jansen win his gold medal in the 1,000 meters in Lillehammer. And I looked at my mom. I said, Mom, I want to do that. And I think I was 13 or 14 at the time. And famously now, she said, well, it ain't going to happen here. So at 15, I packed my bags and left. And I traveled around the country and around the world and made eventually 2 Olympic teams. And this is important. I actually won a bronze as well, which it gets forgotten as well, in 2002. The reasons it's important, though, is because I had an epiphany after winning that medal. It's what led me ultimately to doing what I think has been the most meaningful thing I've ever done in my life. Unquestionably, the most meaningful thing I've ever done in my life. In 2002, the Olympics were in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'd spent literally 10 years of my life focused on that event, although I didn't know at the time that that's what ultimately I was aiming for, to become the best speed skater in the world. And I won my first medal internationally at the Olympics, which is a good time to start. And I crossed the line, and for the next 5 or 10 days, everyone in the world wanted to talk to me. And I actually thought, because I'd spent most of my life sort of chasing this goal in the hope that somehow winning this medal would somehow take me to a place that I'd always believed that I should be, or should give me some sort of position in the world that I thought I should have. And I won that medal and crossed the line, and everyone wants to hear what your story is. And then 5 or 10 days later, it's over. And I remember thinking about it and thinking, man, is that it? I won a medal, so what? And you don't get that on the old NBC montages too often. But it was a pivotal moment in my life, because what I realized is that what I was doing, as much as I loved it, it was a luxury. Elite sport is a luxury. The fact that I could skate in circles and spend years of my life and hundreds of thousands of dollars in other people's capital to try and make me the best athlete in the world is a luxury. And I decided at that moment, if I were ever to be great again, if I were ever to stand on that platform, although, again, this idea germinated at that point, I wanted to find something more meaningful. And as we get closer to the 2006 Olympics and I got ready for this Games, I was skating out of my mind. In fact, I'd finally sort of become the athlete I always dreamt I would be. And I remember I was sitting in Austria, and I just raced in this little village. And I was staying in this sort of very Austrian sort of establishment, stucco and exposed wood. And if anyone's been to Europe, you know what I'm talking about. And it was one of these beautiful days where it was winter, but it was sunny enough you could leave the doors open. And I saw these images, and they were from Africa. And you see these images of these villages just getting destroyed, people wiped out. And I was offended by the injustice of fate. It's not my fault. I did nothing right to be born in the country I was born in and to the parents I was born to. It's fate, pure dumb luck. Faith, fate, whatever you want to call it. I was born here because, well, there's no reason. I got lucky. Now, I worked hard, and every single one of us has worked hard. But if you look around the room, all of us, by merit of being here, we're lucky. And I couldn't figure out any way to address this injustice other than trying to figure out some way to use these gifts and this opportunity I'd had to try and help someone else. And in 2006, I decided if I got this spotlight, this time when the world was looking at me, I would try and talk about something that was more meaningful than me skating in circles. And Right to Play is what, again, through luck, sort of came to me. The man I'd grown up watching and wanted to be like, not because he'd done, in '94, he'd already begun the work on what would become Right to Play. That wasn't what inspired me. I wanted to win medals. But by the time the 2006 Olympics had come around, I think it had finally dawned on me what was really important. Right to Play is reaching millions of children every day. Millions of children across the world. And the thing about development, the thing about sport and play, is that the benefits that it brings, they don't happen overnight. No one decides they're going to be in the NFL or in the Olympics and says, I'm going to go to the Olympics, and the next week they're in the Olympics. It's a long-term process, and it's a battle. It's a battle against uncertain odds, but it's worth fighting. So to me, elite sport, it's great. It's a luxury. But play is a necessity. And the lessons that Right to Play teaches children, they're necessary for us to have the world we want to live in.